Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Magnus Archives Miami. I'm Zeal, or Scott. My pronouns are he, him, and this is the Soft Veil. Follow us everywhere at ZealZaddy. We also make some pretty cool Cypher and D&D products that are on Drive-Thru RPG. I'll drop a link in chat in a minute. You can use, even in chat, can save clips using the clip command. That's ! Clip. If there's something you really thought was cool, you can drop the clip command in. It'll save the last 30 seconds. I think it's a pretty cool thing to do. I love seeing it and using it. The Magnus Archives RPG was created by Monty Cook Games and is based on the podcast by the Rusty Quill. We love both of them, think they make amazing things. Can't wait to be sharing this with you tonight. Let me give you a little warning, though. The Magnus Archives Miami is a horror campaign that may contain material not suitable for all audiences. We explore topics from deep personal fears to existential threats to humanity. So listener discretion is advised. All right, we have everybody here now. I think there's a lot of cool things about to go down in Miami. Let me fix my camera. It's a little low and annoys me when I move forward and I cut my head off like that. So let's not do that. We're going to get started right away, actually, with everybody's entrance into the building, the Edsel's building. Why don't we go... I think Sam would be the first one into the building in the morning. Sam is kind of a... I'll let Jack describe Sam. You walk into the building, the elevator man opens the gate and the door for you. Doesn't ask what floor because he knows. Huh?
I just give him a nod because I've seen him over and over again.
He presses the button. You want to say who you are, where they can find you, and anything else that you want them to know?
Sure. My name's Jack. Pronouns they, he. You can find me on Bluesky at flaminghotrod69.bsky.social, on Twitter with the handle flaminghotrod69, and on Discord, Megatronus II.
Nice. All right. Quinn, I think you're next in. You take a few more minutes early in the morning, I know. So why don't you describe your entry into work?
Yeah, I think that Alder is supposed to be there at around the same time as Sam because they work very closely together, but in actuality is like 5 minutes after, collar on their shirt is not quite right, holding a coffee and like a bag with a couple papers spilling out of it. A little bit more rushed, I think, in the mornings. Wearing exactly this. This shirt has alligators riding golf carts, and I'm just really, really happy about it.
Nice. Don, of course, tips his cap to you. You're having a good
Don.
day there, Alder.
Yeah, what about you? Anything happening around here? Notice anything odd, unusual, out of the ordinary? It's the same question Alder asks every single morning.
Nothing ever happens here. Not when you're my age. Any more ghosts you seen around?
Not yet, but I'm still looking and still asking.
All right, maybe one day. Oh, here's your floor. And the elevator opens. Press the button, it disappears. Go on.
As Alder, says goodbye to Dawn, also as they walk out onto the third floor, they look down the hall in the opposite direction of our offices and say, "Good morning, Eileen," to seemingly just the air, and then turn and walk towards our offices.
I think Maggie is coming in next.
Hi Hi, I'm Faye. You can find me as Gothic Fairy or Gothic Fairy Cosplay on basically any platform. If it's not one, it's the other. Um, Maggie comes in with her hair in like almost like a Barbie-like ponytail, um, and like is like very put together. I think she is probably like 10 minutes late technically, but she has like a thing of coffees. Like she probably has like five in the thing, um, and is like walking like very like calm towards the elevator and waits for like the doors to open.
And the doors open, and Don opens, pulls the gate back.
Hi,
Morning,
Don.
Maggie.
It's an early one, isn't it?
It is. It's always early for me. You look like you're ready for a good day's work.
Well, hey, isn't that just all we do?
You're, out of your office. You're the third one in today. Just so you know.
Well,
You got
who
those.
who can blame me? I brought coffee.
You got the two new ones broken in very nicely.
Hey, I don't have to unlock the doors at least.
And the door, the elevator doors open. And you walk out into the hall and into the offices. I think Satori would be next.
Mm-hmm. I'm coming in a bit disheveled. I'm wearing some sort of festive button-up sunglasses. I've got like a holster on the side, and I'm carrying a bag that has way too much stuff in it. And I come running in. By the way, my name is Chenoa Reed, and you can find me at Zephyrite, pretty much anything. I'm also the owner of Diceberg Ahead, which you can also find by just searching Diceberg Ahead. And that's a TTRPG podcasting network. But anyway, I go into the elevator.
Mornings. I don't even get your name right. Satori. Where is that from?
Yeah. Japan, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You got an air of cool about you all the time. You know that, right?
Thanks. Is there who's in?
Sam is in, Alder's in, Maggie's in. That's it so far from your group. I mean, there's a few
Please
other
tell me
people.
Maggie brought coffee. I completely forgot on my way in.
Maggie had coffee.
Thank God.
At least one or two. I think actually she had more than one. So I think you might be good. You might be good.
Good. The coffee here is just awful.
The coffee in every office is awful. Except at 3:00, you get the Cuban coffee. That's something that is definitely worthy of joy.
Absolutely.
All right, have a good day. And he pulls the gate out so you can get out.
And I walk towards what I assume is my desk.
You actually have a desk that's shared. I'll actually show a floor plan in a moment, and I'll show everyone where you work. It's so corporate. The elevator comes down, and as the doors open, Walter, you are walking up to the elevator.
Actually, I have another idea, if that's okay.
Okay.
Like, Walter actually never left the building. Probably always left at the archives.
Okay.
With a couple of bottles of beer.
Ah, so you're already in there when everyone gets in.
Yeah.
All right. You want to describe yourself waking up as the lights start going on in the office around?
Okay, so Walter is around his late 30s. He doesn't like to talk much. Tries to give nicknames or titles to everyone. Currently, he has some sort of shirt, but probably most of his buttons are open. There are a couple of beers around him. Probably the bottles are just rolled around the corridor and stuff like that. He has also papers around him as well, trying to salvage as much as information as he can get. he has an extra effort on it. Probably it brought some attention on him because of that. But yeah, he's just dedicated to it. Like,
So the first one to come across you then would be Sam, who was the first one in. I will bring up the floor plan of the office while Sam is coming in. Let me hide the
I also
floor
realized I
plan.
didn't really describe Sam's game. I just said what
Oh,
Sam was
yeah,
doing,
okay.
so
Go
I'd
for
like
it.
to describe it.
Yes.
Sam typically dresses more casually with his shirts, like this kind of shirt right here that I've got on, but like he has business slacks and very nice dress shoes. And carries a small little briefcase that doesn't really have much. He just carries it to kind of look and fit in with the commercial or corporate air of the office. He's not much of a talker in the mornings, and this particular morning he was running a bit late and wasn't able to get coffee beforehand, so he's like even more withdrawn at the moment.
Okay. Nice. Well, to get into your office, you have to go through. Actually, no. You don't have to go through an office. You go into an office that you and Quinn and Alder share, and there's a door that's cracked open to the left at the back of the room that is where Walter and Satori work, and to the right there's also a door to the office of Maggie. So you're really all interconnected as a group. Maggie also has an entrance to her office separate. But you hear some clinking tin from inside. It's not a new thing to know that Walter is occasionally there late. And when the lights go on, that's when you hear kind of shuffling and the tin can knocked on the floor from the room behind.
Sam notices this because he's aware that like Walter shuffles around, just decides to poke his head, looks at Walter, waves at him a little bit, and then pops back into his section of the office and tries to get set up for the day.
Do you do anything, Walter? Do you respond? Are you awake enough to respond?
Probably. I'm still trying to get back to myself.
Okay. Yeah, Walter must have come in really early to beat you in.
Yeah.
And a moment
Nice.
later, the door opens again that you just came in, and Alder follows in next. Here's some shuffling in there too.
Morning, Sam. Is Walter here already?
Yeah, I saw him in the section where he and Satori work.
Okay, good, because I had some things that I wanted to talk to them about and follow up on from yesterday. Is anyone else in, or just us so far?
And the door
I think
opens
it's
as you're
just-
speaking, and Satori, no, not Satori, Maggie walks in. Sorry.
Sam waves and actually notices that she has coffee and kind of comes up to her and is like, "Hey, are those up for grabs?"
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted. I don't think we heard that.
You are muted, Maggie.
Whoopsie. Hey, y'all. Not only are they not up for grabs, you have a specific one. I got you your regular order.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I was really worried. I can't have any milk and anything. That would have been really
yeah,
bad.
no worries. And
Uh.
Alder, I have a white mocha.
Yeah, Alder is holding a, like, from home coffee, but we'll also take that, and we'll drink them both in the next hour.
Uh-oh.
That is the way. And then right behind Maggie coming in, Satori comes in.
I've got straight up black coffee.
Oh my goodness, you're the best.
Yeah. And the same for Walter. And I hear the clinking of bottles, and I
Yeah.
go, ah, Walter.
And you head in. Walter's sitting up by that time. Walter, you see Maggie come in.
Team gathering.
I have your coffee for you, and I also actually, and she like pulls out just like a little packet of wet wipes. If you spend the night here, I know the restrooms are not fit for getting yourself back together, but here, have these on me. And just like hands you some wet wipes.
Thanks, Captain.
No worries.
Have we started the morning meeting?
You know what? Yeah, let's start the morning meeting.
I sit
So-
on the floor.
You can either do it here, and there is room, because this is the desks that are, it's open concept for this room for Sam and Alder to work. Of course, Alder has the corkboard behind them proudly displayed and high so that even when they're sitting, it's above them, so it's always displayed and visible for everyone to see. In fact, I should probably display that proudly for a moment too.
I think I'm just like, we're all having our coffee and waking up. We can just have the meeting here. We don't need to worry about moving. And I just sort of open up of like, all right, so we've started the process of sorting through the cases, right? So far?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Okay. And then has there been any progress in figuring out what of those has been worth investigating or any leads in that?
Actually, I heard a case just yesterday, and I thought it might be worth investigating. Maybe not necessarily on the occult, but more on a cult or sect basis from what the statement sounded like.
Okay. That's definitely worth looking into. I think I might have a small meeting later for just upper management people, but other than that, seems like we've got a pretty easy day on our plate. We'll see if that changes, but hey.
And there has not been a whole lot of good quality statements or material dug out yet from the hurricane debris shoved in that room. So it's actually kind of surprising when Sam or Alder comes and says, "Oh yeah, I found something that's useful." And did you want to play it or anything, or no?
Sure. Do I control that, or?
No, I can play it.
Okay, sweet. So Sam puts the tape in the tape player and plays it for everyone.
All right, let me cue up the room a little bit. So this is the statement. I'm going to see if I'm going to test playing it as an audio file. I don't know whether the players will be able to hear it, so I think I may have to drop it in chat for you to listen to if you want. But I also have a transcript, so I can drop that in. Either way will work. So let me see if this plays for the listeners.
Statement of Neve Eirwen regarding a dark
Imagine we're just
horror
kind
and
of
the rising
settling
fire
in and
reformation.
sipping coffee
Miami.
as we're getting ready to
Recorded
listen
February
to what
9th,
the horrors are.
2020. Audio recording by Matilda
And it
Ives,
is a typical day.
Field Archivist, the
Ah,
Magnus
started.
Institute,
Another
Miami.
day in the office.
Statement begins.
It started playing. I'll drop the Discord into chat the
I-
transcript.
Didn't mean to get involved. Not really. I thought it would just be interesting. Something to write about for the blog I keep. Local oddities, strange history, that sort of thing. The Rising Fire Reformation seemed unique, and their choice of location caught my attention. They've been using the building downtown that used to belong to the first Church of Christ Scientists. It's almost ironic the way that they've taken over. That place used to be about detachment from physical reality. Now, well, fire and scars. The first time I went, it felt more like an experimental theater performance than a service. The congregation gathered in the church's cavernous main hall beneath those cracked plaster domes with the faint smell of smoke lingering in the air. They sang, but not hymns. Chants, rhythmically disjointed with claps and stomps, building like kindly. At the center of the main hall stood Adara Kohler. She isn't what you might expect. Not old or wizened, late 30s, I think. Tall, commanding, her voice carried without the need of crackling speakers. Her big auburn hair looked almost aflame in the dim light. Adara spoke about the fire as though it's alive, a sacred thing, not just a metaphor. She called it a gateway between destruction and renewal, a way to break the soft veil that prevents our souls from soaring. Her words felt rehearsed but not performative, intentional, and the congregation listened like their lives depended on it. That night, they demonstrated what they called the rite of ascension. A young woman, no older than 20, stepped forward. She was shaking but smiling nervously, like this was the most important moment in her life. They lowered her left arm onto a block of polished black stone, and from a small fire pit brought out a branding iron, glowing orange, hot. I wanted to turn away, but the crowd wouldn't let me. Not physically, I don't think, but their presence, the anticipation in their eyes, held me in place. Adara said something as they marked the girl. Pain is how we know we live. Fire is how we truly know pain. And when the iron met her skin, she screamed. But she didn't pull away. Not even a flinch. It wasn't until the following week that they started pressuring me directly. I hadn't meant to go back, honestly. Curiosity just got the better of me. I thought if I kept to myself and stayed in the back, they wouldn't notice, but they did. Adara spotted me after the service. She confronted me, I guess, politely, but intensely. Her eyes locked on mine like I was the only person in the room, and suddenly her voice wasn't as calm as I remembered. "You've come twice now," she said. "The fire calls to you." I tried to laugh it off, said I was there to observe. Her expression darkened so fast it gave me whiplash. And for a moment, I thought she might actually strike me. Then she exhaled, closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, her anger was gone, replaced by something colder. "You can't observe fire," she said, almost gently. "You must feel it. Rise like the flames and be marked, or don't waste your time too much longer. We can't stand watching someone extinguish their inner fire." Two of the congregants came up beside me, close enough that I could feel their body heat. I'll never forget the scars and brands that stretched across their skin like living maps, tattoos twisting between burn patterns. One of them had a deep scar over her eye. The other had words inked across her chest that I couldn't read. I left, quickly. I can hear Dar's voice as I walked away. "You can leave the fire, but the fire will find you." Since then, I've been seeing things. Fires where there shouldn't be any, a candle's flame flaring when I walk past, streetlights sparking above me. The worst was when my stovetop ignited itself, even though it hadn't been turned on. It was like the flames were trying to find me. I've tried to ignore it, but now, everywhere I look, I feel like I'm being watched. Like there's a heat behind my eyes, pressing out. I can't go back to that place, but it's as if I've already been branded.
Statement ends.
How long ago was that?
About 4 years, I think, because it was in 2020, February.
4 years ago. That's kind of wild.
Okay, then we look into this group, and where they might be located now, or if the building that they were in is still around. Or, from the sounds of
Rising
it,
Fire
yeah.
Reformation. And finding a dark color.
Yes, that too.
I mean, I'm happy to start. I know I'm supposed to be kind of searching through the old files and stuff from the hurricane, but we haven't really been finding anything there yet. So if you think this is more worth following up, I'm happy to start doing some online research and trying to dig into these places a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea of just looking into the area. If there's any connections, sort of figuring out this person's life and seeing where they went, where they were before this and where they were after, that might help us figure out more about this statement.
We can always do a drive-by, too, if we have an address. Just
That's true.
take a peek.
Oh yeah, getting an address should be easy. I mean, I'm sure if I just Google that, we'll be able to find it.
Yes.
The Rising Fire Reformation, where to find.
So true.
Probably have a website.
Yeah, they probably do have a website.
Possible. I'd also say maybe it's worth it if Walter looks into some of the occult aspects of it. If you have any experience with this or something similar to this, or any connections that you might be able to find, that might be a good place for you to start.
Right now, probably you'll see that Walter has a serious face, like dead serious.
Well, we can definitely take care of it. Either way.
I think myself, I'm gonna start looking into the cult as well, just to help with the investigation.
Do we know if there's any other transcripts that came after this? Or have we not gotten that far in recovering files?
I don't think we've gotten that far.
You don't know if
All
there's
right.
anything new.
Yeah.
This is just lucky to be recovered from the hurricane damaged files anyway. Doesn't mean there wasn't anything, they just don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, let's get some more information first then, and then put some boots on the ground.
Yeah, Alder, like, goes and I think probably, like, stands on their chair, which is probably very unsafe, and takes a pen and goes and starts, like, scribbling onto the to-do list of the conspiracy theory corkboard that's up on the wall.
Oh, OSHA, non-compliant. Alder, we've talked about this. Alder, we've talked.
I can't. I need to get like a
I got
step
you the
stool in
step
here.
stool.
I'll
I
just
got the
hold
step
it.
stool.
I forget about where that is because I slide it under the desk so I don't trip on
That's
it.
why
But then I don't
got the
see it.
label maker and I put the label down there.
Yeah, but I don't see the label because I'm not looking down. I'm looking up.
I'll put arrows. I'll put arrows.
There we go.
So doing some research, the most basic research, you find that the Rising Fire Reformation is still in the same building, still occupying it. And they're occasionally in the news, although not for anything they're doing, more for the people who are picketing it every time there's a service outside of it. You know, there are people you'll see on the news periodically, people outside there with signs and things that suggest it shouldn't be an allowed church kind of thing. You know, one thing that you also notice is they never call themselves a church. They just call themselves a Reformation. They don't. It's almost like they try and stay within religious dogma without being overt with it. It's pretty the religious aspects, they keep pretty quiet to it. So the building, by the way, Alder, you were able to find photos of it. Easy to find them. It used to be a church was built in the 1800s, and it's got some old history to it itself. The people that the religion that used to use it didn't believe in medicine. They believed in prayer instead of medicine. Which for the 1800s, that's a pretty brave thing to do. Actually, medicine was a brave thing to do then too. So you prayed to get healed. So as technology came on, fewer and fewer people followed that sect of Christianity. Sam, you do not find any other tapes or anything in the box. I mean, you had to do some work to kind of reconnect the tape itself. It was damaged. You had to, go in there and reconnect the tape and tape it together so that it would work right and all that kind of stuff. So there is a little bit of time that you had to do just to even get that. And it was a tape found amongst the debris of the rest. You've got a stack of them, and you finally got one that seemed to work well enough that you could resolve it. Walter, what are you looking up? Because you said you had a very nervous.
Yeah, it was something like Walter was just kind of focused on just space, thinking about some things about his past, like it's happening again, and he has to do something. So after spacing out for a couple of minutes, he just goes back to the room, takes his jacket and phone, and he'll probably say something like, "Send me the location," and then rush towards the elevator.
So Tori,
Whoa.
that's not a good idea. You already know.
Hold on there. I chase after him a bit. Are you sure you want to go alone? Because, it's policy to have a team of two. Like, at least let me go with you.
Be quick.
Oh, okay. I grab my coffee off the floor. Grab my bag.
Back in the room. I can't believe Walter just chugged the scalding coffee. That was quick. He got out of there
Kind of
fast.
scary, not gonna lie.
That's frightening.
God, I say like drinking mine, like not chugging it, but like way too fast. Like,
It's also like half sugar.
yeah, that's true. A little bit different than the plain black coffee, but I'm also by this point I'm assuming sitting on the ground like. Somehow I've already printed out pictures of the building, and I'm like, got the scissors out, cutting them, getting them ready.
And you can find pictures even of Adara still heads the temple, or not the temple, the Reformation.
I don't know if this would be metagaming, but could I ask a question that relates to Sam's backstory?
Sure.
Would Adara or anything about the Rising Fire Reformation seem familiar to Sam, whether from like his college days or from his like background?
Potentially from his previous background before college. I mean, it would be not a direct connection, but maybe there would be some kind of connections there. There are. I'll just leave it at yes, potentially.
Okay.
And Maggie, you said you had to go. You had a meeting. Who are you meeting with? Do you actually have a meeting?
I think I maybe said that, and that meeting is not... Like, there are meetings like that, but I think this might just be a reason for her to, like, hide in her office and, like, scroll on her phone for a little bit. I think this is just the morning time that she sets aside of, like, well, I'm gonna check Instagram.
And
I think that if you don't say that you have a meeting, Alder will follow you around
Exactly.
asking you. Yeah.
And you open the door and go into your office thinking you're going to have a moment. Good morning. And Sienna Huxley is sitting in there in your guest chair seat.
Hi, Sienna.
And she is...
Good morning.
She is your boss's boss. But she's also who brought you from Chicago here. She's the one who interviewed you. She loved you. She thought you were awesome. I don't know if it was mutual, but it was enough to bring you when an office needed a rebuild.
Hi, Sienna. Do we have something scheduled this morning? Or
No.
Is this... All right, just checking. All right. How you been?
Good. I was just wanting to check on how things are going with the new team. Are they
It's
feeling
going all
it?
right. All roads have bumps, but, you know.
It's been quieter than what went before with the previous field archivist.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting some questions about what's happening here and if
Because,
investigations will be happening.
yes, we're sorting through the cases that we have recovered from the hurricane, and actually there's just been one today that we've managed to find some interest in. Two of the Walter and Satori, occult and supervision coordinators, have already headed out, practically sprinted out, although it's hard to do some sprinting in an elevator. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Looking into some sort of cult-ish like activity. So we're starting.
Okay, I just wanted to... This is more me letting you know that there's questions being asked about the efficacy of the team, and I'm telling them there's been a lot of damage, and we're going to make sure that we work through it all. But a report at some point would be really useful for me to...
Of course. It's, of course, the priority is the safety of the team. So, making sure we have all our tools in order before we go into something with our eyes closed.
Yes. All right. Well, I'll let you get back to it. I just wanted to check in. I didn't want a meeting, just something impromptu.
No, of course not.
Your coffee smells good. Thank you. Thanks for giving me a minute.
Of course.
I'll let you go.
Anytime.
We don't do doom scrolling around here. We just scroll. No doom.
Of course. This could have... No. She closes the door, and after she closes the door, she just mumbles to herself, this could have been an email.
It totally could have been an email. Almost every meeting could be an email.
Yeah.
In every corporate office.
Yeah. I think maybe I don't doom scroll necessarily. I think I do just sit down and I make a sort of list in my head of okay, these are the areas covered of the investigation. Let me see if I can fill any cracks here, sort of thing.
Okay. When Alder and Sam, as you're researching and going through what you can find, you do find that a lot of the signs on the protesters say things like immolation is abomination, fire destroys, ban body mutilation, church not hellfire, things like that, what you would expect.
Encouraging. Yeah, super encouraging. Love to see that, yeah.
Not typical picketer signs, but I can get behind it.
And you also find that they have services on Saturdays, generally, but they sometimes have smaller services during the week. The thing that they mostly are picketed for is that they have part of their ritual is branding you with a mark. And a lot of people want it to be made illegal and banned in the state or at the federal level, but it's never been done. It's seen as something the same way as piercings or scarification or tattoos, things like that. So it has been pretty protected in that it is a form of creative expression. But it's the only place you can see that you've been able, in doing your research, it's the only place in all of the state that you were able to find that actually does anything like that. Piercing shops won't do it, nothing.
Two questions. One, are we getting all of this from... You mentioned there were news articles about the protests. Does the... Not church, the Reformation, do they have a website of their own where they talk about
They do, and it's super useless. Okay. It is super minimal. It talks about things like the fire of your heart, passions, like that kind of stuff. So it takes its abstraction and abstracts at another level to make it look welcoming.
So like typical cult jargon on the website, vague and misleading, just to give you enough to make you feel, oh, this might be interesting.
Someone on the team, graphic design is their passion.
Yes, exactly. It's not a bad looking website.
And then as I'm looking into it, because you mentioned, I think anytime there's any kind of old building being looked into, Alder does a little bit of side research of, does this look like it might be old building that could be haunted? Does anyone
Oh God, yes.
say that anywhere?
It totally could be. It's not said that it is, but there are some people who believe that just based on the past of the church that was there before, it very likely is, because there were many people in the church that died of disease and injuries who refused to get medical assistance. So, potentially, yes.
Does Alder share any of this with Sam, or are we doing our research separately?
Well, your desks are pushed together, so you're not able to see what you're researching. I'm not sure that Alder can keep their mouth shut about things, or their excitement quelled when they go, ugh, or something.
It's already like, even if Alder was able to be quiet about it, it's already getting like the red string between the other buildings that are haunted are now being connected to this building, and you can see and you're like, oh gosh, here we go.
Yeah. So Sam, being the skeptic that he is, tries his best to manage with Alder and doesn't want to be mean, but is also frustrated by the, oh, maybe this is ghosts, and the red thread kind of makes him want to roll his eyes.
I don't think that it's ghosts that are doing this. I think it could be also ghosts on top of this. I think it's two separate, potentially, things going on here.
Right. But we should probably focus on the cult and the branding, because that's what the statement talked about.
True. That should probably be our main focus, but I think, you gotta connect it all, because what if after this, the ghosts,
Maggie comes
maybe...
into the room. Are you talking about the buildings again?
Look, the building...
They're talking about the buildings again.
I'm talking about the buildings again.
The building is from the 1800s, very old. It has a history of being used for different kind... Honestly, the history is kind of interesting of that, like, before it was this cult, it was kind of a different cult in a way. Maybe it's just a really... Maybe there's something about this architecture that really appeals to cultists for some reason.
If you're going to look into the history of the building, look into the previous group that was housed in there. It might not have to do with the building. It might just have to do with the people who were there. I think you're getting there, but don't get too stuck on that detail, because then you're just digging yourself into a wall.
I will try and look into all of the history of the building then, including the ghosts, potential ghosts.
It's progress, I'll take it.
Satori and Walter, you head out. The churches, you have to cross over into Miami. It's not on Miami Beach. So you have to cross the causeway, and I'm assuming somebody's driving, but you get across, And when you get to the building, it's got some like older Greek architecture. Parked in front is a fire red Ferrari. A Ferrari Testarossa is the actual model. And there's also behind that, parked behind it, a Land Rover, a black Land Rover with really darkly tinted windows. And what are you doing when you get to the building to get to the place?
If we're taking my pickup truck, I'm assuming I'm driving.
Okay.
I immediately take note of the license plates and I text them to Alder to see if they can find anything on those. And
the license plate says fired up
fired up
on the Ferrari.
I feel like this is on brand. What do you think, Walter?
Probably Walter is a little bit distracted because he's actually texting. So I'm texting to Marcus, like, I'm on a lead. Have you ever heard Rite of Ascension? Burning Church?
You get a response relatively quickly. He said, "Yeah, that's the cult out on Miami, right? In the old building."
Yeah.
As far as I know, they're on the up and up. Although I suspect there's tax implications around some of their income because they're a cult.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just texting back something like, on the investigation right now, find me something useful with dots.
I'll see what I can do.
So are you ready to go in, Walter? Or do you want to chug your coffee some more?
Let's get in. We have to
Alright.
find something here.
We'll take a quick walk around. Are they holding any service on this ripe early morning?
No. And there, a lot of the building, from a distance, it looks a lot more elegant and it doesn't look like it's in as bad of shape as it is from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get close, you can see on the sides, like some of the doors are kind of broken down or damage. Like they have water damage or something on like a lot of the wood, the frames and whatnot. But it is a very well-built building that looks like it could survive a bomb drop. Like it is just concrete, thick. There's very few windows, at least on this level. Maybe up higher.
Just a casual hire. I guess I'm gonna walk around the building first before I enter in, just to see if there's anything going on around the back.
There is an open door on the side, and you can see activity in there.
I get quieter. There's something going on back there, Walter.
You're trying to sneak up?
Just to kind of get a better ear on maybe if there's things being said.
What are you doing, Walter, when you see Satori go into stealth mode?
I'm just following, and I actually try to, I don't know, sniff the air, like if there's something I can catch, and check the surroundings, like if I can see any kind of sign, any kind of thing that is, I don't know, weird or unsettling.
Yeah, so when you sniff the air, you smell ash. Like from a barbecue kind of thing. But there's no barbecue here. But there is a garbage can near, and there is ash, probably sprayed with water or something in the garbage can.
Okay, the question is the smell good? Or something, I don't know, bad?
It smells more like burning wood than anything else. Not, it doesn't smell like something bad. Not something like what you were thinking of.
Okay, so I'm probably waiting for Satori's next action while checking the surrounding more closely. I'm trusting my intuition.
All right, Satori, you are getting near the door.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any kind of sneaking or stealthy or investigation role skills that you can bring to bear here? Perception?
Let me double check. I mean, I do have perception as a trained skill.
You
Yeah.
want to make me a roll? You're shooting for a level 3. And if you are trained, it's actually a level 1. So you just need to roll above a 3. Seems easy enough.
That sounds good to me.
Till you roll a 1.
I sure hope that that's what works out. Well, I rolled an 8, so that's
All right.
above it.
Yeah, you get fairly close, and you hear someone in there yelling at other people. You need to get this cleaned up in here. I don't want this mess. If I get another crazy parent or investigator or police officer in here, I don't want them to see ashes and the brands sitting out. That stuff needs to be put in the case and taken out with us. We'll bring it in on Saturday when we need it. Picketers are going to drive me crazy. We got to get them out of here somehow. All right. Get this up. I'll be back in a minute. And you hear somebody stepping further in and some
Somebody
shuffling
coming
of
towards
stuff. Yeah, it sounds like somebody is starting to come towards you. And they feel like they're carrying some stuff.
Yeah, I turn back to Walter and I'm like, go, move, move. And I start walking back around.
Walter, do you have any skills for sneaking or investigating or perception or anything? Not perception.
I have
hiding.
specialized perception.
Okay. So you hear Satori kind of, Walter, like trying to not be loud. And, I mean, you're not right with Satori, so I think that you have an opportunity to just sort of blend in more so. But Satori was right next to the door, so it's more, what does she do?
Yeah.
And-
If there's a bush, I can hide in it. If I feel like...
There's the trash can that had the ash in it.
Oh, shit. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. And I, debate whether or not I'm gonna get into this trash can and get covered in ash. Is there any other... There's no other bushes. Do you think...
Oh, there's some plants
able...
around, but there's also columns. Like, this building has big, Greek columns.
I'll hide behind one of those and not in the trash can full of ash.
Okay. I gave you the option.
I could have taken it.
So you hide, and Walter, you see 2 people coming out, carrying a box with them, between them, and each side has a handle. It's kind of long, and they take it out to the Range Rover, or the Land Rover. Range Rover, and they open up the back and they put it in. The Range Rover, it has really, you can tell from the inside, it has plates on the inside, like for safety against external attacks. It's true. Like it's maybe an armored car?
I would like to ask if I can understand anything about this box. Like, does it have any kind of stamp on it? I don't know, any kind of writing?
I'll give you an intellect roll. It is, you need a level 4, so you're looking for a 13 or above.
Come on. Oh. I have 5.
Okay. Outside of the fact that it has like a red wood and some kind of maybe gold leafing, you don't really see anything else particularly important. Although those 2 things are something too. Sorry, my dog just got a squeaky toy.
So if I have a chance, I'll try to get closer a little bit to see if I can get anything more.
Okay. So when you get closer, I think the squeak toy just got taken. Goodness. When you get closer, one of them stops, and when she sees you there, are you trying to follow us or something?
What do you mean?
Well, you're standing over there just a moment ago. When I put the box in and I turn around, you're much closer, and you don't look like you're living on the street.
I'm just trying to get there. That's all. Or are you hiding something? Are you doing something illegal?
And they close the
call the
back of the
police?
truck. Let's go. And they take out the little thing and click it, and you hear the car boop, boop, lock.
Okay.
And one of them
I'll
watches
focus,
you as they go past.
I'll focus on the plates.
Okay. Yeah, their plate isn't special. The Ferrari is the only one with the special plate. You get... They start heading back, and Satori, you are behind the column as they start walking past you.
Mm-hmm. I try and turn with them so they don't see me.
Okay.
Kind of like from Lord of the Rings in the mines.
Yeah.
Just trying to...
Or every cartoon ever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And can you hear the squeaking still?
Yeah.
We'll get rid of that in a minute. It is a puppy, and you can't just take every toy away from a puppy. But you can take the squeaky ones away. You go around, and you see Walter out there. Walter, you saw, had an encounter with one of them. Mm-hmm. And as they were coming back, they were a little bit more wary, like just paying attention more. Mm-hmm. They go in the same side door that they had come out. And they close the door when they go in.
Okay. I come back out to Walter. Should we call a tow company?
I don't know what to say. But something wrong with here.
Yeah, 100%, for sure.
It didn't give me much clue actually, but they're acting weird, like they were doing something illegal.
Yeah, they said I overheard something about like some sort of sigil or like glyph, and that they were needed to get rid of it because of the protesters, and that they'll bring it back on Sunday for their sermon or whatever.
Wow.
Whatever it is, it's really damn important.
And right in that moment, Walter texts back to the office about the car and asking for any kind of track or something. Can we track cards?
Yeah, they don't have that stuff because they don't have a. If you notice on the org chart, there's a missing role of the person who is your equipment assistant. But you do get a text back from Marcus, and he says, "I got word from a friend of mine who says people go in there one way and they come out another. They come out changed people. Serious more often, maybe more less risk averse. And like any cult, they start breaking ties to their families pretty quick."
I'll text back like, what about their intention, their real goal? Anything?
They try and get people to see pain as a way to salvation. I don't know if there's anything beyond that. I've never heard of a cult that only had the personal needs of the cultists as their main focus, only as a step.
Okay, next question. How do people get involved with them?
You show up on Saturday. It's an open door.
I'll just show the reply to Satori. We'll say, time to action.
I guess we're going to church.
Hallelujah.
I can still call a tow company. At least give them a little bit of distraction.
We have to learn what's behind it.
Going back to the office, Sam and Alder, you are doing research on all of this, and you do find out about Adara. She's not very old. She's in her 30s. Big red hair, like almost like 80s style big red hair. Auburn, not red. Auburn, so it's reddish. Thinnish, lots of body decoration. And there are images you can find online where she shows some of them. Gorgeous work on tattoos. And in between them, there's finery of what looks like scarification of some kind, branding in certain spots, piercings, and then there's one brand on the inside of her arm that has no other art around it. And for most of her body that you see, where she's showing off her art, that is unusual. But that brand is of a fire in a circle, a flame in a circle.
Sam, because like he's hang on, I can't remember if I'm trained or not in religion, but I would like to do an investigative role towards that. Like if it's a religious, I'm trained in it.
Okay, so it would be, I think, a level 4 if you're trained. You just need above a 6. Easy enough.
There we go. I got a 10.
All right. So you find that there have been plenty of religions that use symbols very similar to this. This one is its own unique design, but it looks like this is the symbol of the cult. And this, when you start looking at other images, you find that there are other members of the cult. This is where they put the brand on you when you ascend, when you take the rite of ascension. And the places you find information about this are things like Reddit, 4chan. I mean, just not necessarily the most reliable, but also places where people will speak their mind. And there's a lot of people who warn people about it, that their kids went to this thing when they were, not kids, but when they're 20 or 19 or whatever. As a matter of fact, the church does not even allow children to attend. Nobody under 18 is allowed. As you probably, well, I don't know if you would suspect why. So other people have shown it where
legality. The 18 thing, just to avoid a lawsuit of, you're endangering a minor. It's like, well, they're adults. They can make their own choices.
Correct. So you do find a video that someone has on 4chan and it looks like kind of a shaky video from a distance, way back in the big congregational room. And a woman puts her arm out, and they actually brand it with this orange hot brand that they pull out of. They have a little fire pit, and when the scream is the worst scream you've ever heard. But she doesn't move and stays perfectly still for the brand. And then the congregants all gather around and give her big hugs and welcome and, make her feel at home. And you can see, even when this is happening, that the pain is just overwhelming. And eventually she runs out, almost right past the camera. And then you see everyone notice there's a camera and start running after this person who turns and starts running. The camera's just bouncing around as they're running. And that's the only video you could find of anything from inside there. Photographs of the room and stuff, but no video.
So I show what I found to Alder, and I point out the symbol and some of the other things. The video is interesting to Sam in the fact that, was there anything beforehand, before the woman goes
there was a sermon and stuff. It was really distant. Okay. You were pretty far back, so you don't really hear it very clearly. But yeah, there's a sermon, and
there's
coercion. Singing. No.
As you are talking, Alder is sort of just grabbing at the nearest. You'd think it would be sticky notes. I don't actually have sticky notes on my desk. I don't know where they are. Somehow I do have random scraps of paper from the last thing that I was crafting. And that feels in character. So just grabbing little scraps of paper, writing everything down, drawing out the symbol, sticking it up on the board. I've seen that symbol in a couple of the different pictures too, so that's clearly something important. Okay. Alder's process at the beginning of any investigation is a little bit scattered. There's 20 new tabs that have been opened on their computer in the last 10 minutes. It's a little bit of a mess. But okay, so that symbol, it's probably just how they recognize each other, right? Or do you think it's something more than that, like a mystic, culty type of thing?
It could lean more into mystic from stuff I've seen in other sects and cults, but I can't really say. They don't seem to have any activity outside of what they do in the church. We don't really know members It's very hard to say at this point with what we have.
We should start maybe trying to track down some members. Can you get, oh gosh, I don't know if there is anyone in that video who's noticeable. What about, the only other name we have is the name of the person who gave the statement. Maybe worth looking into if they wound up becoming a member after all of that? Or if we can find them?
Yeah, maybe we could search them up and whatnot.
Yeah, you're able to find name, address kind of stuff with your search capabilities. And
I guess
apparently
we
it is
should
local
probably-
still.
Huh. Maybe we should swing by, or should we call first and then swing by, or would that be a bad idea?
Like, is there like a process for asking for a follow-up statement? Because I know that's like a thing that's done sometimes when a statement's a couple years old.
Maybe ask Maggie.
Okay, so we go ask Maggie.
Go ask
Hey
Maggie.
guys!
We gotta look at each other for a second and realize we haven't actually, like, we know that's a thing that you can and should do, but because we've just been digging through the old records, I don't think we've done a follow-up statement yet, so we just kind of look at each other like, we should go ask Maggie.
Yeah.
It's like doing your homework and then realizing that you can, in fact, ask a teacher a question if you're just not getting it. Follow up. Yeah.
Before you answer, one thing I want to... There's a little information that you do have that I want you to remember, which is that Matilda Ives, the previous field archivist, no one else in your team knows this, unless you choose to let them know this. She disappeared a few years ago. She liked to work alone, and she didn't disappear alone. She disappeared with her assistant, Raul Aguirre, and her researcher, Chica Ing. She always let them stay in places where there was nothing to see, nothing to hear, nothing to do. And when they all three disappeared in one day, somehow coming into the office and then not leaving, there had been for a little while a requirement that field statements had to be done by groups. Somebody could come into the office and give a statement, that's one thing. But field work then became a policy to do in groups, although it has not been enforced because nobody's been doing it for the last few years. So it's kind of your discretion how you want to handle that.
So it's become a recent thing of we do this at least in pairs.
Yeah. And these two have never gone out of the office together to do anything in the field. Ever.
Oh.
It's the first time for everything.
It's not quite true. There was a little assignment you gave
Yeah, but it's
Alder,
also
it was
like, can you run this errand around the corner? Yeah. I think Maggie, considering all these things, goes, yes, it is possible to do a follow-up statement. The statement itself, that one, should have some of the information for contacting her as a follow-up. I think, given that you guys have not left the office before on an assignment like this, I would like to accompany you guys. And if that makes you uncomfortable, just think we can put this on the company card.
I was
can
already
stop
feeling like more comforted by having more people because some
Yeah.
aspects of this sect are making him uncomfortable. But then Maggie mentions that it's like, okay, this could be even more fun. It's like a little trip.
We can straight up stop at that sandwich place around the corner and put it on the card. That's expensive. That's
Nice.
lunch, man. All right.
And Satori and Walter walk in as you're discussing this.
Hello, all. Okay, did you guys find out anything more or dead ends? Anything?
Shit be fucked up.
Ah, the huge, as they say.
Yeah. They have this like pyre thing that they are like, it's portable with like a glyph on it, and apparently there was like pretty hush hush when I went around back to see what was going on. Apparently they don't want it there while protesters are there, but me and Walter at the very least are gonna go to Sermon on Saturday to see what's going on, and I might call the tow company while we're there just in case for distraction.
That's good thinking. We are looking to go for a follow-up statement for Neve. So if you guys are interested in coming along, that might be a good idea given that you've gone to this location now.
Yeah.
And I also have the company card, so we can stop at that place around the corner, get some sandwiches, have some lunch.
I love Doc's sandwiches. That's the best sandwich
it's
place.
so good. Wait, he smushes it? God.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The panini press.
Oh, the panini press. Yeah, we have to stop there now. This is actually, I'm pulling the car myself.
Yeah,
Alder,
whatever.
did you get my text messages with the license plates?
Yes, I did. I wrote that down somewhere. I don't think I remembered to actually look it up yet. But
How about just print off the picture and then we can add it?
yeah, and I mean, one of those at the very least was incredibly specific, so that'll come up immediately when I look
Red
for
Ferrari. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
By the way, I need some information. Like, the lots of people attending to their ceremonies, and they kind of changed. We have to learn more information about it. We have to find some people and their addresses and see if there's any pattern around there. Maybe we can go there and, I don't know, talk to other people, like relatives or neighbors.
That makes sense. I think once we go to Neve, we can definitely ask them of some follow-up questions, especially given that this is their first-hand experience. But also, if they've been in there, they likely would know other people who had likely been in there. Yeah. I think that's the sort of path we should go on right now. If we hit a dead end with Neve, I say we come back and try and find more people who have interacted with this cult and get names and addresses.
Yeah, and I mean, we do have a dark holer, and we can see if her family knows anything, because I'm assuming they don't talk, and if they do talk, they're in the cult.
All right.
But I'm hungry, so let's round up.
Let's go.
Not all of you are gonna fit in my pickup, so we're gonna have to take the SUV.
Yeah.
Well, they would fit in the back of the pickup.
Well, yeah, if you want to sit in the pickup part of the pickup.
All
We
right,
get
so-
some sandwiches and then montage over there.
Yeah. You enjoy your sandwiches. They're amazing, as usual. Exactly. You can't be hunting cults on an empty stomach. And the food comes out. One thing that is always nice is with the panini press, they steam it too, so you get this nice steamy smoke that rises out of it that's really kind of nice. Very hot. And the food is really cheap, which wonderful on top of it. You get the bill, Maggie, it's less than $60 for all 5 of you to eat well.
Nice.
And you head to Neve's. When you get to Neve's, it's in a part of the town called Hylia. It's a pretty big area. The house is really run down. It has a chain link fence wrapped around it. Part of it is broke and it's not in good repair. The weeds are overgrown. there's a beat down car in the front that looks like it was in a car fire or something. And no dogs on the fence or anything. But the house is there.
So Maggie, who all do you want coming up? Because I feel like having 5 people per
That's
house
true.
might be a little bit intimidating. So
I think it might be worth it if Satori and Walter, if you take a look more around, like, the actual area of the
Yeah.
house. Look around, check the back maybe while we talk. 'Cause 3 people, that's a little bit more understandable.
yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look. Maybe look into that car as well.
Mm.
Maybe take some pictures of that if you can. Like, not obviously, if.
I got you.
Yeah, so I can look into it later. And see, I don't know if we can make out the license plate on that one because it's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
charred, but if we
Sounds good.
can, maybe we can find, like, you can usually go and, like, find, like, the history of cars and stuff and accidents, and it's on the news somewhere if it was a bad car fire
Yeah.
like this.
Like Carfax or something
Yeah,
like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll take some pictures and I'll put it in the group chat.
Okay. And so Satori and Walter, both of you are walking the property line, walking around the house. As you come around the back, you see that there's a little porch area, and there's a fire pit and some chairs around that. The fire pit is the only thing that looks like it's in reasonably good shape. There's mounds of firewood over by it, and there's plenty in the garbage with the lid is off the garbage. There's plenty of bottles and cans of booze and beer and all of that kind of stuff. From the front, the window, like most of the houses in the area, the windows aren't tinted like this. This is darkly tinted. And the it's quiet, like the neighborhood's quiet. It's the middle of the day, so most people are at work. And then the door creaks open, and someone looks out. What do you all want? I see you walking around my house, and I don't know why are you from the Reformation? I'm not going again.
Oh, no worries here. So we are actually from the Magnus Institute, the Miami
fuck.
branch. Well, unexpected reaction, but, we're looking for Neve, Neve Eirwen.
I'm Neve.
Well, wonderful to meet you. We're looking to ask a few follow-up questions about your experience with the Rising Fire Reformation.
And she looks at you. Just questions? You're not... It's just questions, right?
Just questions.
Do any of you have any cigarettes or anything?
I don't. I don't know why I thought that I might for a split second, but...
No, shit. All right. And she looks around at the neighborhood, like down the streets and stuff. All right, come on in. The two in the back, I'll get them. Hold on.
If you want me
they-
to tell them to keep a lookout for anything, just so that you'll feel more comfortable, I
No,
can.
it'll freak out my neighbors. I don't want the police called on me again.
Okay. Of course.
What are they doing back there, by the way? Why are they back in my backyard? If I had
well,
a
they
dog,
were
they would
just
have been bit.
That's true. We were just a little concerned with the environment. We thought maybe someone might be in the area.
Hey, you,
Also, we thought it might be a little intimidating for 5 people to show up at your front door.
I ain't afraid of none of you. Hey,
Fair.
y'all can come in. You don't have to stay back there. And you hear that from the backyard.
All right, as you wish.
I'll be stay out.
That's from the movie, right?
Check the restaurant.
Yeah, I think so. Some of my cousin always said. I don't know if I've seen it.
Yeah, that was that, I don't know, Prince's Husband or something? What's that show, that movie? Oh, I don't remember. It's a long time ago. Okay, come on in. And she kind of sits in a chair that looks like an outdoor chair that she's using as her indoor chair, like a lounge chair, like patio furniture. And the table has just tons of cigarettes and cigarette butts and ash, and the house is a mess, just a disaster. There's booze and beer, like mostly used. Have a seat if you want, and there's lounge chairs. You have to unfold them to sit.
I respectfully am gonna stand.
All right, whatever. And you're looking at her arm, and you see there is that brand mark on her arm. And there's also tattoos, and it looks like there's there's places where there are piercings on parts of her body where there's no piercing. There's no metal anymore.
So
And
we
she
just
hides
have
her
some.
arms when she notices you seeing that.
So we just have some follow-up questions about sort of the post period of your statement. You experienced a lot of anxiety about those experiences already, and you mentioned already feeling like you had been branded in a way, even with no physical mark. And I've glanced at your arm now, and I do see that you have since received a brand. And there's been, in our research, some noting that there's a big personality shift, a lot of cutting off connections, family, friends, and we're looking to see if...
They cut connections off with me. It wasn't me doing it to them.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why do they always do that? Why do they always... They cut off from me. They couldn't handle the truth.
And what is your truth? We would love to know.
I went through a lot of pain to get this. This thing, it is representative of the fact that I can ascend to a better place. I know I'm alive because I felt this pain. Or I was alive.
You don't
What do you
feel
mean?
alive anymore?
I mostly feel alone.
When you saw us, you seemed like you didn't want us to be from the Reformation. Did you have some kind of falling out with them?
Did you see my car?
Yes.
Yeah. You gotta go to the temple on Saturday. Can't miss too often, too many times in a row, or things
Did they
happen.
do that?
I don't know who did it.
I'm gonna ask this, and I don't want you to be offended, but have you been blacking out at all recently? Not remembering things?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's alcohol related though, if that's what you mean.
Maybe, maybe not. It's just something that we need to check in with.
Are you now part of the police or something? Is this an investigation about me? Like, I didn't break any law.
No. We're just trying to draw lines from the report you gave 4 years ago.
What did I say then? Oh God, that was so long ago.
You.
That was
you
only 4
attended
years
the
ago?
Reformation. Yeah. You attended the Reformation because you thought it was interesting, where
Yeah.
they had their services.
Yeah, that old
But
building
you
was
were-
really interesting to me. Like, nobody had been in that thing for so long. And then, isn't it weird when a church buys a church?
Yeah.
Buys the building? Like, to me, that feels... At the time, I felt like, is that considered a sacrilege or something to either the old church people or the new church people? I don't really know. But, I mean, honestly, a building is a building is a building, right? I mean, they get bought and they get knocked down, they get propped up, whatever it is that they do, and they just do it. And
I suppose it depends on whose god you think is stronger.
And she takes a cigarette butt, and there's not much to it, and she lights it up with a match. When she lights the match by doing this kind of thing, like with her thumb, and it lights it. You don't mind? You mind if I smoke?
It's your house.
It's your
Offended?
house.
Yeah.
None of you are pregnant or anything, right? You don't want to smoke around someone who's pregnant.
God, no.
No.
All
I
right.
hope not.
Are you thinking of? None of you are thinking of joining, right?
Pregnancy? No.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
You actually get her to snicker for a moment. That was funny. That was good. Yeah, when I joined, I didn't want to join. Yeah, I mean, even in the statement, I said I was kind of freaked out because when you leave, you kind of think that if you leave a church sermon, you kind of think the sermon stays in the building and they leave you alone. And I had people come and some people knocked on my door and to talk to me and asked me if I wanted to come back. Which, I mean, I guess that's no different from any other church. They all want you to come back, I guess. But I didn't come back the next week, and then like things started being weird. Like my stove caught fire, and it I didn't even have it on. And I would like. An example: if I were to light a candle, and I walk past, you know how like if you walk past, sometimes the wind catches it. It's bigger than that. It's like it comes up high, and I really, honestly, I kind of got to stay away from most fire things, except like outdoors where I know that the fire can't reach things. You know, like my house, I want to keep it safe, but I know it don't get real cold in the winter here in Miami, but in the winter it can get downright chilly in the 40s. And you know, so I go out and I use the fire pit. It's like there's fire following me that chases me everywhere I go, and I don't. I don't know what to do about it.
How
Are you-
long has it been since you stopped going to the services?
About 5 or 6 months now, I guess. And I didn't completely stop. I did after my car fire out. I went back and I threatened them with a lawsuit if they caused trouble for me anymore, and I mean, I'm not proud of it. I tried to strike the priestess there, and the guards, they threw me out. Said I can come back next Saturday if I'm in a better mindset.
Have these
And that's
incidents?
when you stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
These incidents become more frequent since you stopped?
let me see your hand, not Alder. Let me see your hand, and she's looking at you, Alder. Can I put my hand against your hand?
Yeah, sure.
And she puts her hand against your hand, and it's hot. Like someone who just got out of a hot tub, like a high temperature hot tub. I'm like always hot. I got, something's wrong with that church. If I wasn't like this before I got branded, I don't know what happened. But once I got branded, I feel like heat is on me all the time. There's no way to cool down. I can stand in a refrigerator and be warm. Makes it even hard to work.
Is there anybody that goes to the church now that you think would be willing and due for us to talk to?
Anybody who's picketing, they got somebody that's in the church. That some of them have kids they got out. Kids, not kids, they're all adults, but
Yeah.
people
The
that
southern
got
kinda
out,
kid,
family people
yeah.
that got out. They might be willing. I don't really talk to anybody in there no more. To be perfectly frank, I'm kind of afraid of everyone in there now. I don't want my house to go up while I'm in it. My car went up. Who knows what else?
Wait, did your car catch fire while you were in it?
No. But I'm saying if I'm in my house, it
But
could catch fire.
Yeah.
I even worry if I sleep in the house. I mean, I do. I fall asleep sometimes when I've been drinking. Any of you want a beer?
No, I don't drink.
I'm good, but thank you.
What about you, sir? She's looking at you, Walter.
I mean, maybe you didn't hear, but Walter is away looking for the
You didn't go in.
environment. Yeah, like someone might be watching this area.
All
He's
right.
just thinking about things about his past. Like, I know it does it, but what's its motive? I have to find it. Kind of thoughts.
And she goes in the kitchen and opens the fridge and takes out a 16 ounce, like a tall beer. Opens it. Hope you don't mind. I know it's not late, but it is after lunch, right? And she starts drinking.
I have a cipher called Watchers Know How. I'd like to take a glance around the room and see if I can glean anything from the state of Neve and their environment and see if it's going to give me any sort of useful information about this person.
Yeah, do you want to read what the cipher does?
No,
we get it.
you know where to look or who to ask about information.
Okay.
There could be more, but that was my shorthand of the...
Yeah. When you look around the apartment, one thing that not uncommon is that all the windows are barred from the outside. They have bars around them. And the glass is heavily tinted, which I mentioned before. But you can see out pretty clearly. The curtains are pulled. I mean, that's probably why she saw all of you so easily. She was actually sitting and watching. And her chair that she sits in faces the front window. There's no TV, but it's like she is set to watch for people coming. The side window, because the living room is on the corner, so both the windows have the curtains pulled wide so she can see out both ways.
This is clearly a person who's paranoid by
Yeah.
certain visitors.
Yeah. She doesn't have anything else about. She doesn't have anything about the church or anything here. Nothing else.
Any other areas that's been like burned or singed or covered?
Yeah, the
in
kitchen looks like
ash?
it has had a grease fire or two on the stove. There's some electronics. It looks like they've had little fires around the loose, bad wiring, what have you. And there's one or two electric outlets that have like a black mark around, like where they've sparked. And she does look at all. He goes, "I have to ask you, can I see your forearms?" All of your forearms.
I
Just to be
show her my
sure.
forearms.
We are
Yeah.
not with them.
Yeah.
I should have asked earlier, though. All right. Hold on a second. And she goes out the back. And Walter, you're out back kind of looking around, trying to get a view of what you would see around. And you see this woman come walking towards you.
Before that, I have a question.
Okay.
I have an ability that is called supernatural comprehension. So I'm
Okay.
basically studying this place from the beginning. So it says that I can identify parameters of an unnatural effect within an immediate distance, like a curse, the presence of something inhuman, or a spell. So
Okay.
it says at least a minute of study and it needs a minute of study and reflection. So can I activate this ability to have an opinion about, like, maybe this place is marked
Yeah.
or something?
Okay. So, walking around the building, I'm going to give you two things that you notice that are important, potentially. The neighborhood is quiet at this time of day, but you do see every now and then a car pass by, and has passed by twice in the time you've been here. Now, it could just be somebody that forgot something or whatever, but that was... You're paying attention, so you would have noticed it. When you activate that ability and you're sitting out in the back, you get this feeling that you're within a place that is... I don't like to use the word cursed, but is under an effect, you would think. There's markings... There's gang markings and graffiti, on walls and stuff, but there's also little things carved in the fence all around the place, just little tiny markings at different points, mostly around the corners, that look like they were carved in with maybe a key or something. So they're rough, but they don't look like words or any of the gang symbols you'd seen coming in, or the graffiti. I don't want to say gang symbols, the graffiti. So they potentially could mean something, but you just feel like there's a heavy air here around this house.
Energy is waving.
And then you see this woman come out. I need to see your arms real quick, if you don't mind.
Why?
I gotta know. You part of them or you not part of them?
It doesn't matter. They're already watching us.
And she backs away from you when you say, "What? Oh shit!" And she starts running into the building. And she closes the door and she locks it. You all see her run in the building, and you could see her coming running back to the house, by the way, from Walter, because the area is visible. And she locks
say
the
something?
door.
I would probably drop a text to the group chat, like, eyes are on us. And then I will try to, I don't know, wander around the corner and something like that. Like, I try to give the impression of I left the street, but I'll try to find a place to watch closely to see if I can see the same car once again. I'll try to be more precise about it.
Yeah. And she goes, the person you're with, he said, we're being watched. Hold on a second. She goes over and she locks the front door.
Yeah, he sent in the group chat too.
Yeah, stay right here. And she goes into a door. And she comes out and she has a shotgun in her hands.
Ooh, whoa.
It's not for you. It's not for you. Don't worry about it. I saw your arms. You're okay. And she goes over to the window and starts peeking out.
Ma'am, with all due respect, I think that your marking is the reason why they can see you.
I had a suspicion that might be the case, but do you know what I'd have to do to get rid of it? I don't know if I can go through it again, honestly.
Do you need some help?
And Walter, you see the same car come around slowly. And somebody in the car is just sort of, there's two people. One is driving and one is just sort of looking. What do you mean, do I need some help? She says to you, Maggie.
Well, if you don't want to live like this anymore, I would assume you'd need to get rid of the brand if that's how they can sort of track you. And
I mean, that would be
you
magic.
said-
I don't believe in no magic. That's nothing. I agree.
That sounds like a little extreme, what is being suggested.
Oh, it is, but it seems like that might be the line that would need to be crossed.
There are definitely protections that can
Two people
help.
outside. Whoever checks their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, okay.
You see them stop behind the, in the street, stop behind the car you came in, the truck you came in, and they stop for a moment, and you see somebody riding something, through the window, and then they drive, they continue on. No, one of these days I'm going to get this thing dealt with, but I don't want to do it the same way.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to go through that again.
You shouldn't have to.
That requires, surgery.
Do I know of any, homeopathic methods that perhaps my mom would have used that would create some sort of supernatural veil similar to salt, but protection?
Yeah, you probably know some. You don't know whether it would work in this case.
Yeah.
Because this is something outside of what you've ever experienced or seen.
Yeah.
But potentially.
Mm-hmm. I just walk up and I'm like, there are certain things, certain measures that you can take that can hopefully veil their sight on you. There's certain ointments, homeopathic means that might be able to protect yourself. No, that sounds kind of crazy, but...
Maggie, you know that the Magnus Archives, the Miami office, no one else knows this, but you know that they actually have one room in the hotel that is used as sort of a safe house. It requires permission to use, but that would be an option if you needed to, if you wanted to move her, if she wanted to move.
I think
you couldn't offer it up without permission because you can't give that permission.
Yeah, I'm gonna start texting Sienna as we're talking and go, I might have an option. I need to check in with superiors, but I'll get back to you in just a second. And I'm like messaging Sienna of like, hi Sienna, quick question as we're following up on a case. We have someone who has sort of arsonistic qualities that are attached to them spiritually, if you will. Looking to maybe use that safe room in the hotel. If that's free right now, I can fill out the paperwork when we get there if that's an option. XOXO.
And you get back, so you want to put an arsonist in our building?
I'd like to put them possibly in the courtyard if possible, but if we could, just so that we're looking to try and detach this sort of arsonistic quality to them. This is not something that they are actively trying to do.
I'll get back to you. I have to see if I have to ask above me. I'll let you know.
Understandable. Yeah.
And she goes, this is your first investigation, right? And you already need the safe house. And there's a haha, like an emoji.
Oh yeah. I text her back with like, I know, right? What are the odds?
Odds are very high, actually. Walter, when the car, it goes to the end of the street and it sits for a bit at the stop sign. And several other cars go past it over time. Like, it doesn't move for a while, but it's far enough down the street that you could not see it from the house, within the house. And eventually another car comes up the street behind it, and then it turns. Makes a nice right turn and disappears.
I'll try to keep my position for a while, but I'll try my best to see if I can catch the plate.
I'll give you a perception roll. It's not that hard. Are you trained or anything in perception?
Specialized.
Okay. So you just need above a 6. 2.
I succeeded.
Okay. You with a 6? With a 7?
No, I actually rolled 20.
A 20?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can totally get the license plate. You also see in the window a sticker from a school or a college or something, like a logo that you can remember. And when they turn, you see that the back window on the one side that you hadn't seen yet, it looks like it has a bullet hole in the glass. It's shattered. It has the hole in it, and then the streaks of broken glass still there, but the cracks all through it.
Could I see anyone else in the car, by the way?
The 2 people.
I know that. Okay.
Yeah, driver and person next to the driver. Inside, she goes, I don't know if you all are safe being here with me. You probably ought to get, wherever you need to go. I don't know if I have anything else to give you. It's just stay away from that. I don't want to say what that group.
Well,
they ain't safe. They ain't safe.
Are you safe being here?
I got a shotgun.
But do you have anyone else that could look out for you?
I would not bring anyone else into this. I wouldn't want to endanger anyone else. I feel bad. You might be in danger while you're here. What happens if your car catches on fire because you're right near here?
I mean, the Institute would pay for us to get another car. It's the we took
That's
the
it.
company car over here.
Is that the company car? I think that's Satori's car.
Well,
I thought we took the van because
Oh,
we couldn't fit
shit.
in
I
the...
think
No.
we took the SUV.
Oh, you
Yeah,
took
yeah,
the SUV.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like-
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's not her pickup.
I don't
you took
think-
the SUV.
I don't think anybody got in my pickup.
Yeah. Okay. That would have been so much more
But-
fun.
By the way, another text. It's relatively safe now. Relatively, with captions.
I write out, like, I take out one of, like, the business cards that I have, and I circle the address on it for the Magnus Institute, and I hand it to her of, like, I'm trying to see if it's possible for you to come here. We have some possible safe rooms here. I'm still trying to see if that is fine with the higher-ups. If worse comes to worse, honestly, I have, like, a smallish... It's like a house with like 4 apartments. I have one of the I have an apartment. And a nice couch. And it's, well, to be fair, it's not even a couch I care about that much. So, like,
I understand.
worse comes to worse.
I understand. Thank you. Y'all are trying to do a nice thing. It can get you in trouble, though, doing that kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. But where's the fun in that?
And it's our job.
You literally get paid to do this. Yeah.
We do. And we get great health care.
You don't need to rub it in, Maggie. I whisper.
You get...
I mean, I get healthcare, but we don't know if they do.
That's true.
And she goes over to the door and she opens it. I'll call you if I feel like I need a way out.
Okay.
Please do.
How's what was her name? Matilda. No, Maddie.
No, it was Matilda. Yeah.
Matilda. How's she doing?
She doesn't work there anymore. No.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, before my time.
She was smart. She was smart. Okay. And she holds the door open for all of you. Walter, you see them all kind of filing out, and the lady is standing behind the door. You, with your perception of what's going on, notice that behind her leg there's a shotgun. You just see the tip of the barrel of behind her leg.
Okay, I feel a little bit nervous about it, but I will wait for others to get back to the vehicle, and then I will join them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As we are like leaving and walking down, Alder's kind of like, you know, a little bit like quiet for a second, but kind of like a buzzing kind of quiet, and goes over to Maggie and was like, "Was that okay? Did I like ask? I had so many other questions I was thinking about, and I was trying to pick like which are the right questions, because you know, like I've never done a field thing before, but I want to do more, so like I want to make sure I'm asking good questions, and I didn't want to overwhelm her." Okay.
You asked some really good questions, and you did a great job of not asking them super excitedly too. That's a key part of it.
Yeah, I think I was trying to ask like in the same like tone of voice that like you and Satori were asking.
Yes.
So okay. Yeah. I mean, that was super interesting. I have I've got paper somewhere in the van. I've got to write some stuff down from that. See, the building, it was a church before, and then it was bought by a church.
And what about the car? Yeah.
And the car. I'm gonna I feel like there's just kind of always a piece of scratch paper within Alder's reach at any given moment, like in a pocket, on the ground somewhere, like a napkin. The back of the receipt from lunch is taken, and there's now notes on it.
Don't forget to send a
Also-
picture to finance.
Yes, you do need that receipt. Like, wait, I need that receipt. A game mechanic as well. Walter used his ability earlier, which reminded me that I have an ability called Missing Detail. So when you listen to an NPC or a transcript of a statement by an NPC, you note something that wasn't said. So something like
Okay.
implied or something obviously left out. And either from, I think as Alder is like just frantically writing down and scribbling all of this, there's like a moment where they think and they're like trying to put pieces together from everything that they've heard. And I'll go ahead and spend the points to let me use that.
All right. So one thing that you do notice is that even though she's paranoid at the moment, she's very quick to jump to action. Not like regular quick. Like she went to get that gun without thinking twice. It was a hot-headed move. That is the kind of thing that kind of doesn't get written, but you kind of feel as maybe there is something there.
Hot-headed.
A question of what is today, given that there's a service on Saturday?
Today is Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
Well, didn't we see somewhere that there might sometimes, maybe not like a regular service during the week, but sometimes they do have
Yeah,
during,
smaller
I'm not
ones.
sure
Okay.
if it said like dates, like if they're always on Tuesday or if they're just kind of randomly whenever.
Yeah, you found that they do occasionally have private ceremonies when they feel they either have a large group that wants to join without being obvious, like maybe celebrity kind of people or people who maybe have a lot of money or things like that who don't want to really go in front of the congregation to be seen like that and want to just kind of do it. You don't know how to tell when that is. And you get back to the office. Maggie, when you get there, let me bring up the org chart.
I have a legion of angry bureaucrats asking me to fill out paperwork.
No, all of them are just in your office.
It is a special kind of hell. Oh. So this goes to the Miami Division Senior Director, who your request for the safe house, for the safe room, I mean. And when you arrive, he's there. He has like round glasses, round spectacles. He looks like a bit like a bean counter, but also he's got a sharp eye. And he's sitting outside your office. It looks like he didn't go in. So, do we have something to discuss?
I believe so. Me and my team are looking into a statement right now, and we followed up with the statement giver, and she seems to still be partly pursued by a religious faction that has incited arsonistic activity around her. So I was
By
looking
her?
to... by her, yes. It sort of elevates existing heat sources around her. So I was looking to maybe place her in that safe room, given that it is about 20 feet from that pool in the center of that little courtyard. Thought that might be a great place to put a person with heat sensitivity.
How long would we have to... Do you think that we would need to house this person for their safety?
We are currently trying to look into removing this heat sourcing activity. With the specialist on my team looking into it, I'm hoping anywhere from 2 weeks to about a month with the sort of resources we have on hand. And we are also currently looking and investigating in this religious faction for sort of additional activity that is sort of recognized around them. So we are also looking into seeing if going into that direction might remove this heat off of her. And also because they are actively sort of intimidating, doing intimidating actions. While we went to her house and talked to her, there was a lot of the one car circling her house and stopping in front of it several times. So there's definitely a source of promise of threat sort of activity surrounding her.
Well, Sienna has a lot of trust in you. She spoke highly when you were brought in. This is the first time that we're actually seeing your team seemingly in the field as everyone is like coming through. Do you think it's the only safe option for this person?
Well, the other option is that I have offered her the couch in my apartment.
No.
And I don't have a doorman, so.
Yeah. All right. It's authorized, and he reaches into his pocket and he hands you a key, like a hotel kind of key, an old one, like with a little number on it and everything.
Thank you so much. I will
The number's
send you
wrong.
updates.
It's 3 doors down from that number.
Okay, I'll be sure to note that.
All right. Let me know when she's no longer, when she's not. I don't think he knows that it's a woman. Let me know when they're out so that I can have it marked as available again.
You got it. I just call her up immediately. I expect that if I gave her my number, I also probably ask for hers.
And the phone is answered. Yeah, who's this?
Hi, Neve. This is Maggie from the Magnus Institute. We talked earlier.
Yeah.
So if you are interested, I have gotten it approved for you to have a safe room here. It's about 20 to 30 feet from a pool. So if you do feel any rising tensions or elevated heat, then that is also an option. I bet you'd do great at turning it into a hot tub. I have the key in my hand right now, and if you are interested, I can help you come over here this afternoon if that's as fast as you'd be interested.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Excellent.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
I'll be right over in about an hour. Is that good?
Yeah, that'd be great. Hold on. Get off my lawn! So, sorry, some kid.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you later.
Okay.
All right.
Hangs up.
Good news, everyone.
I peep from around the corner because I've been listening.
Awesome. The room has been approved for Neve. I'm gonna pick her up in an hour. We did something, guys.
Progress.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting worried there for a second.
Yes. If it could start being looked into, the sort of things that she was talking about, looking to remove this mark, this curse, whatever is activating this excess heat around her, if sort of those occult things could be researched while I go and get her, that would be great.
I think
By the way-
maybe you guys should do that. I've got we've got tons of license plates we need to start looking into, and the protesters as well.
Yes. I wanted to look into the protesters as well, just to get more people to talk to and ask questions and search through as well.
Yeah, we still need names and profiles. Some common things that make them, I don't know, they're potential cultists. victims. I don't know how to call them right now.
All right. So Sam and Alder are looking into license plates and protesters, trying to find information on who they might be to find out who they're related to or whatever. The Satori and Walter are doing what? Researching what? The removal of the brand?
Yeah, looking up the sigil, removal of the brand, more of that occulting. Walter has more of like the occult research than I do. I'm going to be more supporting in that, while also looking up other ways to kind of protect Neve from any, like, I guess, seers if they're being tracked by this symbol.
Okay. And you know of the ways that your parents did things, and you, as far as you know, they've always been, things that worked.
Mm-hmm.
So why would they not work with this person? You probably would assume it would work to block somebody's sight, not visual sight, but third eye kind of sight. But you need ingredients too.
Yeah.
By the way, I would like to add something like, probably after some time, Walter starts to do research about rituals and spells based on fire concept, rather than just trying to help that person. Like, I'm not trying to help her. I'm just trying to understand what they do, because when there's a curse, you have to know the steps so you can follow the steps in a reverse way to undo the curse. I'm working on that kind of stuff, trying to undo it.
Okay. So Tori, you basically have to go out of the office to basically get some materials, some of which you have to get from the wilderness, not from a store.
Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of salt, some like special tea that has a lot of like herbal qualities, mostly for like emotional well-being. And then I get some ointment that will be used to help cleanse and block the sight of anybody that's going to be seeing. But hopefully I get back in time before Neve gets there, because my plan is to give like a salt bath to the walls of the safe room, so it's like protected all around. Just
the
wiping
cleaning
the
crew's
walls
gonna
down.
hate you.
Yeah.
Sam and Alder, you look up license plates, and Adara's plate is the easiest one to get information on. Her address is not an unknown thing. She lives on Miami Beach. She lives in a building called the Sunfire condominiums. It's a multi-million-dollar per unit home apartments in a 30-story high rise. She has the penthouse suite. As cult leaders,
Yeah,
It's
we're
very
shocked. Shocked. The cult leader lives in the penthouse. I think we both kind of like look at each. I feel like if we're doing research at the same desk, and that
Yeah.
both
So
of us can
typical.
like look at it.
He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that tracks.
mm-hmm.
some of the license plate of the car that was going around there, which is a normal car, it was not like a super fancy car or anything. It is owned by someone who lives maybe a mile away. So it's not that far. It's also in Hialeah. And then the the car, the one that they were using behind the Ferrari, is owned by the church itself. So it's
So I'm
church
starting to wonder
property.
how they're funding themselves, because it doesn't seem like they're getting donations, but the leader clearly drives a Ferrari, lives in a penthouse suite. They're getting money from somewhere.
Yeah. And when you're looking up the protesters, one of the protesters is the parent of a pseudo celebrity, someone who is an influencer, has a reasonable following, 600,000, 700,000 followers in certain places, pushing 1 million in another place or two. And that person has sort of abandoned their own socials recently.
Okay, well, I'm doubting they did that for their mental health. I'm assuming we have like a name and
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Virgil Montenegro. And they had a fashion line that they were trying to push. They had and when I say fashion, like beach fashion, pretty typical and common in Florida. And they did music, and they were outside of those, though. The thing that had kept them going was neither of those, because the more you look at it, the more you're like, that doesn't make sense. But they're really funny, or they were really funny, and their videos that would get lots of views. Their TikToks would get lots of views. Their images got lots of views for a product that it didn't seem like there was anything special. You don't know whether, maybe you're just not a fashionista, but who knows? And the music was not particularly, it wasn't surprisingly interesting or amazing in any way. It just seemed pretty typical of middling musicianship and singing. But they made you laugh all the time. Maybe they're missing their calling on comedy. And that one is probably the only one that's easy to identify as from just the people out on the street. In the news reports, some people would say names, but a lot of them did not give names. And one thing they did say was they're there every Friday through the end of the sermon, and they had somebody watching for when they saw enough cars that they felt there was a private service happening. And
Sorry, did you mean Saturday?
Saturday. Yes, Saturday. Sorry.
Okay.
No, they started on Friday, and they stayed there all through
and they stayed
Saturday.
Through Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
And they had somebody watching for when they had private services, and then they would come out in droves.
How many protesters is it, like, in the pictures? Is it like 20 people or 100? Like, what's the approximate?
If you were to put them all in a time lapse, the first news report you saw, 5 or 6. The next one you saw, 8. The next one you saw, 14. The next one you saw, 30. And it looks like it's topped out at maybe 50 or 60 people protesting.
Okay, so not
Okay.
the biggest crowd.
Yeah, but they're pretty dedicated if they've been how long does it look like they've been coming out actually? Like when are the earliest pictures from?
A good 2 years.
Okay. Yeah, if they're doing this consistently for like the last 2 years.
Does mean they care.
Yeah. Okay, well we have a name now. I need to put I'm assuming there's pictures of
Yeah.
the person who the influencer online.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them on the board. Like
he's
Alder
cute.
kind of again starts talking out loud, I think, as they're kind of going through like, okay, I'm gonna print them out and get that up there, and no other names, and I gotta get the timeline of that up there, and just kind of starts like I'm sure that Sam loves sharing an office with them. It's great office mate behavior.
Sam has learned to tune out some of it after a while. He's just kind of like in his own zone, doing his own research. Just like, Alder's doing their thing. Just if I don't pay attention to it, it goes away faster.
Walter, you get a message from Marcus. And he said, huh?
Just say okay.
Yeah, he says, Adara, who runs it, she knows a lot of famous people. A lot of famous people. And then, go on.
I will reply as, do they have any other common thing?
A lot of the famous people that she knows have left the spotlight. Actors, musicians, influencers of different kinds, filmmakers, whatever. You know.
Do you have a list of names? Like, what about their careers?
I mean, I don't know exactly who they all are, but I can pull together a list of who I suspect. Not we, I suspect.
Yeah.
Because it's like she makes contact and they disappear for long stretches.
Interesting. I mean, I don't need a full list. Just give me a couple of names that could help me to draw a pattern.
Okay. I'll get what I can find. I'll figure out what I can. And Maggie, you get to Neve's house. And when you pull up, the door cracks open a little. She peeks out. You're on mute.
Hi, Neve.
And she looks down the streets and stuff. And she comes around. She has a sheet or something covering a stick that she's carrying or something under it. Probably the shotgun, to make it not obvious she's carrying something like that, and a piece of small luggage, and the luggage is metal. And she throws it in the back seat. We're ready. We can just go now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the car just went by a
Get in the
little
car.
while ago. And she gets in.
And I go. And I also take, like, not a direct route to the Magnus Institute, but I go, like, around the other way. Like, if, like, you could get off an exit early, but, like, I went past and then turned around and came back. Like, that
Yeah.
roundabout.
Hey, did you, you say you got a room there, so I can just stay in the room?
Yes, and my team is also looking into like removal of this sort of heat magnifying effect on you. So we're going to be looking into doing that so that this is only a temporary thing. You don't have to keep living here until the group is destroyed or dissolves or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's just go. And she ducks down so that her head is not above the dash.
Do you want to put the sheet over your head too?
Oh, and she does that.
All right.
That was smart.
Yeah, of course.
What will happen if they find me there?
Well, that's not exactly their sort of jurisdiction, and there are many illegal matter that can be taken against a religious faction that tries to, I don't know, come into an office building that they have no jurisdiction around. We can sue them to hell and back, is what I'm trying to get at.
All right. Yeah, I guess they'll probably leave me alone there. I hope they can't find me, actually. You said there's a pool or something to cool off in?
Yeah, we actually just had a hurricane recently, so, like, it's not the most fixed up pool, but it is a source of water. The building itself used to be a hotel, so, like, it's not just like, I think these corporate guys need a swimsuit every once in a while. It was something that was already installed.
It's actually still a hotel also. It's a hotel and offices.
It's actually still a hotel, too.
Yeah. And the pool is on the roof. It's an infinity pool that kind of looks over the ocean. I haven't been in a pool since I was marked. God, that would probably feel so good to cool off like that. Yeah, that'd be. I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
The idea of a pool. Okay. And you are driving back. How long have you been there? Like you and you have a whole team. It used to be one person. Is that like a new thing to bring out a whole bunch of people?
No, there used to be. So you knew Matilda. She actually had some assistant researchers as well. So I've worked here. I actually started working here right towards the end of my college career. I actually went online for like my last semester and then came here and was working at the same time and sort of made my way up. I'm not actually from Miami. I'm from Chicago. But I sort of got pulled over to this branch after the hurricane struck and sort of started helping them reassess and recuperate some of the damages from that. So that's sort of where I've been.
You clean up messes.
A bit, yeah.
Is your office like a... You said it was hit by a hurricane. Is it a disaster or is it... Is the hotel working and stuff?
Oh, it's working perfectly. It was only sort of like a contained hurricane. Very restricted hurricane. You know, sometimes you elevate heat sources. Sometimes there's an indoor hurricane. Sometimes things happen.
You know Adar is rich, right? She drives a really fancy car. A sports car.
Makes sense.
She can be dangerous just because of money, you know. It's not just the heat, right? Like,
I mean, probably. But, you know, is she immune to a shotgun? And I point to the gun in her hands.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think anybody's immune to a shotgun, are they?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of a rock, paper, scissors sort of situation.
All right. You're not if you like follow them, are they going to be able to follow you and find me? Like if you go looking into them, I'm a little worried about you looking into them a little bit because they have people that follow you and stuff. And I mean, your worker saw the car. Like they look at things.
Oh, I'm sure, but I've also been followed before, and I'm also great at following.
All right.
I simply just have to get them first. And I have utter confidence in me and my team that we're gonna get them first.
All right. And she stays ducked. You get to the hotel, and it's starting to get towards the end of the workday. Actually, it's probably already crossing 5 into 5 to 6 o'clock territory when you arrive. And there's a parking lot, but not a garage. So you have to park in the parking lot, and it's like, oh, this is pretty open.
Yes.
You sure we
Yes,
weren't
it is.
followed, though, right?
I can't be sure that we weren't followed, but I tried to take precautions so that we weren't.
Okay. Let's just go. We'll know if they followed because they'll make themselves obvious because they're not that smart.
Very true.
And she walks with you, but she always seems to be trying to keep you between her and any corners on the road or anything.
Mm-hmm.
In case she could be seen. She's trying to make sure there's the fewest opportunities of being seen.
Yes.
And you take her in, you take her up. When you open the door of the elevator, she sees the doorman. Good day, Maggie. You bring in a guest, I guess.
Oh, see, I'm bringing a ghost. You don't see anything. And I'm very, like, charming about it. Like, oh, don't you know?
Press the button. Doesn't say anything else. The door's closed. You open on the new floor. The gate opens. And he says nothing else.
Excellent. Lovely to see you. And then I go and take her over, and I remember that it's 3 doors down from the number on the key, and I point this out to her as well. Hey, it's this, not that.
Yeah. And you get her settled in. She just sort of, like, checks out the place. She looks out the window a lot. Back in the office.
And I say I'm in there salting the walls still.
Oh, yeah, you get in there, and actually, Satori's already in there.
There's a bucket full of water that had salt dissolved in it, and I have like a big sponge, and I'm just wiping the walls down, and I see you guys come in. Oh, hi. I thought I had more time.
Oh, that's all right. Here, I'll help you, and we'll get it done in half the time. And I pick up a sponge.
We're just really
It was so
quickly.
dirty you needed to wash the walls?
Oh, it's a salt solution. Supposed to help out, keep energies out. Hopefully keeping some of the bad juju of your
I eat a
friend
lot
out.
of salt. You'd think that would protect me then. You sure that kind
You'd
of thing
think
works?
so. It's about intention, you know.
Down
Speaking
in the office. Yeah.
I got a little bottle of ointment. It's like a little bit of oil, and I'm like, you can just use some of this, put it on your wrist, your hands, or something like that. It's just supposed to be a form of protection.
And she puts her arm out. Let me see it. I just rub it on.
Yep, just like 2 drops, and
Okay.
just think good thoughts.
And when she rubs it over it, it bubbles.
Ooh, like
Oh,
like
shit. That's hot. That's hot. The hell? What the hell? And she's trying to rub it
Okay.
off. And she grabs
You're all
the
good.
corner of the blanket and tries to rub it off. It's burning. It's so hot. It's so hot.
breathe.
What is that supposed to do?
It's a protective ointment. It's a salve. Does it still burn?
Yeah.
All right, we can wash it off.
I don't
I
know.
get non-salt water.
Okay. Well, it was the oils and stuff that was doing it. So.
Well, I don't want to run.
Oh,
rope
salt water, right?
Yeah.
No salt in the wounds.
Yeah.
And you clean it off, and as it cleans off, it's like, oh, it's not so hot anymore.
That's a pretty powerful incantation they used.
I mean, it's weird that it would have any effect.
It shouldn't, but at the very least, we have the salt.
Maybe it did.
Maybe.
And it's fighting it.
Possibly. I'll put it around your doorway, nonetheless.
You're going to leave that, right?
Yeah. It's for you.
Down in the office, Sam and Alder, you're able to gather some information from the license plates and everything, and there's video footage of some of these protests, and there is a pattern to the protests that you notice. Wednesdays and some Wednesdays and every Saturday. It seems like they mostly keep it to Wednesdays. You do find one time they did a Tuesday, but it looks like they have the smaller ones, occasionally on Wednesdays, and then on Saturdays, the main one. And one thing that kind of stands out in the internet age is when there's something people do and nobody's talking about it. And you see the pattern of quiet. Like, how did they keep this so off the internet?
I would like to. I also have. I know Elder has this ability. I have the missing detail ability, and I was wondering if I could use it for that. If like there's a gap, and like, okay, this is something that's happening regularly. No one's making note of it, especially if it's been happening for almost 2 years.
Yeah, you're able to actually spend more time towards the math of the dates of the times, and there is a mathematical precision to some of this. There are certain things related to the sun. There are certain days when there are flares and things like that, and they tend to use those days for part of it. And there are the Tuesdays seem like the odd ones. Those are the ones that seem most out of character.
Okay, I wonder why not Sunday, because sun.
Yeah. That is kind of funny. I mean, everything else had sun references.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they hold their services on Saturday.
not the day of the actual sun.
Yep.
Weird.
Do they hold their services like during the morning of Saturday, or is it an evening event, like goes late into the evening?
It's
Maybe.
a late morning Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Yeah, I know.
When you say like late morning, is perhaps
11-ish.
time, is there like a, maybe as like Sam is looking into it, like maybe the coordination with the sun is like the time of day that they're meeting and the location of the sun in the sky relative.
It doesn't seem like
I don't know.
that. It just
There
seems
seems
like,
to be a sun theme.
yeah, the sun is a good fireball. And the end of the workday arrives. Are you workaholics, or are you 5 o'clock, I'm outie here?
If I'm researching something and like in the middle of it, I probably don't even notice what time it is. Like, the time is irrelevant. I'm on the internet, I'm Googling something.
See, but Maggie comes in with a broom.
That's how you know it's time to leave, yeah.
Yeah, Maggie comes in and starts like, I don't know if you have, maybe you don't have like a work laptop or something, but you have like a desktop or something, and I found the power button. Like,
On the
a
monitor.
pillow on a face.
Like, I didn't get to save my files, but okay.
No, I just do that to Alder's computer. I know Sam's got his shit in order.
Okay.
What? Oh. Maggie, what? Wait, is it? It's not.
It
Oh, wow.
is.
Oh, it's after 5.
Yeah.
Wow, that went by fast.
I did remove that cot I saw you put back in here the other day. So
You know,
it's not going to be comfortable sleeping in here.
I think that Walter sleeps in here sometimes, and I never see you talking
See, yeah,
to
but
him
I don't
about
know
it.
how he gets in here. And at this point, I've stopped looking.
Yeah, I don't know how he gets in here either. And I'm not gonna ask. Okay, well, let me just. I've got to pack some of this stuff up.
Yeah, of course. I've still got mine to do first. I'll walk out with you.
When
Stare down.
you get out of the office and you close the door behind you, Maggie, you see there's a post-it note on the outside of the door. And it just has a T on it.
There's a post-it note on my door that has a T on it?
On the office door.
On the office door?
Like to the whole office. And it just has a T on it.
I see that, and I take a little marker, and I just add a little heart next to it. And then I look just down the halls and
Don't see
like take
anybody.
a good look around. I don't see
And
anybody.
you see that, Alder. That's odd.
Maggie, do you know what that is?
Yes. Let's go.
Can I try and... I don't know if there's opposed rolls against other players. Can I try and take the sticky note without Maggie seeing that I take it?
Could
I
you
wanna
take
put it
that?
on the board behind another picture.
I love this behavior.
I think Maggie is watching
That was
you.
a suspicious answer.
It was
Yeah,
totally not hidden.
That's true. I'm specifically waiting to walk out with you. So it would be really, really hard to just... I'm imagining you just like slowly like trying to take it off and then just being like, what are you doing?
Couldn't we, like, throw this away? It's on the office door.
No. I mean, if they come back, they'll want to see... Well, alright, I'll take it then. Thanks.
I will later try and, like, recreate like,
Recreate
as
the
close
T.
to, yeah, like, what does the T look like? And I
What
match
exactly?
the handwriting to other
Do
handwriting
you
that
think
I've
they went
seen.
for the top and then down, or down and then top? What are they going for?
And when you get in the elevator and you go down, and when you get outside, you see there's kind of it's starting to get later in the day, so the street starts to get a little bit busy. Miami Beach gets busier as the day ends, and it's almost like maybe at the Miami Beach Convention Center there's a cosplay thing going on. A lot of people in costume and everything, and there's even one guy that sort of catches your eye. He's got like bright red hair. He's got a couple of women with him. He looks sort of like a 70s-ish kind of look. And he's
Wait,
walking
question,
by.
is Sam around, or has Sam just gone
Did you
home?
come out?
You didn't
with
go
us?
out with them,
I
did you?
assumed- Oh, okay.
I assume you did. You didn't sound like you came out with them. It sounded like you went either after or before them.
I might have left beforehand because the whole,
Yeah.
like...
Yeah, you
Sam
see
were
this
off with the
cosplay thing
case in
going on.
general. Yeah.
Yeah, you see this cosplay thing going on. But you don't
Okay.
see
I don't see that.
that.
Okay.
No. But you see them, and they seem to be like looking at the office front where you all are coming out, where the two of you are coming out. And the guy tips his hat like a gentlemanly thing. And then they continue walking on.
That, like... Do you recognize that person?
The
No.
one with the top hat? No.
It's not a top hat. It's a hat, but not a top hat.
Oh. I was just imagining immediately like a top hat, and I'm like, what the
It's
hell?
more like like a pork pie hat, like a shorter one. Like this.
Oh, yeah. Does this person look weird, or is...
Everybody here looks weird. It's like a
All
cosplay
right.
thing going on.
Man. I'm really hoping something would, like, help me with this. I don't think anything... Well, actually, wait. I have something called inner defense.
Okay.
So I'm trained in any task to... Oh, wait, no, I'm seeing something else. But I do have natural charisma, so can I do a discern motive of just... I want to vibe check the cosplayers. What are y'all about?
The cosplayers are having fun and goofing off, and those three people are the wrong vibe. They're more
They
serious.
don't pass.
Yeah, they don't pass the vibe check with the rest.
I
And
just
they don't
sort
really
of-
fit as far as the costume isn't the same or right.
I think I hold eye contact with them and just like really look at them. I'm doing like the really awful eye contact of someone who's like being looked at and it's just like, you're gonna look at me, I'm gonna look at you harder.
They turn away from the stare back.
I thought.
And they as they start walking away, you hear them kind of chuckling or laughing with each other, enjoying it.
I'm gonna see what direction they head towards. And just a quick check, is it like the same direction as where I know the safe house
No.
room is?
No,
Excellent. Then that's fine. They
they're
can
kind
be
of in the
weird
flow of the
somewhere else.
cosplayers.
Okay.
So Tori, when are you leaving?
I'm not.
Walter's already rubbed off on you.
Yeah, I'm too preoccupied with having somebody in the safe house for the first time, so I'm gonna go to my bell tower. Gonna have a smoke. I have this like little box, basically of Altoids that I keep like pre-rolled tobacco in. And I'm just gonna kind of watch the town, kind of have a moment to myself before I'm gonna embark on this long night of basically watchmen, and that's just gonna be watching from across the courtyard.
So when you get up there, you see that there's like a cosplay convention or something, and you can see all the people walking along. And you see Sam leave. Like you can see down to the street level pretty clearly. And you see Sam leave and head over to his car. And you see Maggie and Alder leave together, and there's somebody that sort of tips their hat to them, bright red hair and everything. And actually, I want to know, does your character sheet have any abilities for motive, investigation, like any kind of...
Well, all of my special abilities involve guns. So, ciphers. I have nightfall, so I can sense things other than sight, like in darkness, and I'm not hindered by dark conditions. And then I have Watcher's know-how, and then as for skills,
Watcher's
I do have
know-how?
perception.
What does Watcher's know-how do?
You know where to look or who to ask about information.
Okay. So you're looking down there, can I get a roll from you? It would be a level 5, so you need a 16 or higher.
Okay. Do you want that for perception or just straight?
Yep, for your perception.
Okay, and I am trained in that.
Okay, so you need a 3, so you need a 10.
Well, I rolled a 4.
Okay.
So this cigarette's really good.
It is. And you just see all the busyness going on down there. And you don't see Walter leave. That's the other thing. Like, not that you
That's
expected it.
Yeah.
But you did not expect it. He does sometimes not stay there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really sure where he goes or anything like that, but sometimes he's not there.
Yeah. I just enjoy watching people from up
It's
here.
a nice night out from up here. The pool is way back behind you, too.
Yeah.
And
Can I see the room from up here?
No.
Okay. Cool.
But you do hear someone, because not many people are using the pool right now. You hear somebody get into the pool, and then you hear like a hissing steam sound.
Like, it's so paranoid. I just go, oh shit, and I put my cigarette out like so quick, and I like just set it on the ground like I'll be back, and I like just start running down the stairs like towards the courtyard.
Well, the pool is actually on the roof where you are, just further down the roof.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go that way.
The courtyard has a little fountain, not like a pool. So when you turn back, you see Neve is in the pool, and there's like sort of steam rising around the air where she is. But she just sort of
coming out of the room.
Yeah,
the room on fire.
It's just like steam coming off around her, and she seems to just be like in so much joy, having something that's cooling her off some.
Thank God it wasn't an emergency jump in, and it was a pleasure jump in.
Yeah.
I'm probably standing there awkwardly, just at the edge of the pool, being like, "Well, my job here's done. I'll let her. I'll let her relax."
Yeah, you can stay on watch.
Yeah,
Walter, what are you doing?
Probably, I keep doing my research. I'm still working on fire-related events, rituals, and stuff, and actually planning to turn my focus into aquatic tradition. But I don't know if I can find any useful information here. So I will just take my chances, but I know that at some point I will need to get in contact with Marcus, and I will ask him to arrange a meeting with, I don't know, 1 or 2 people from his organization. But before that, actually, I will try to catch a moment with Satori. If
Satori,
I already know that she's still here.
Yeah. You probably know that I'm hanging around. I usually go to the tower after work anyway before I leave, but
Yeah, there's like a stained glass dome that she's found a place to sit next to and enjoy the kind of seclusion and the ability to kind of really see quite a bit around the building. So do you go up there?
Probably I'll be waiting for her.
Okay. Yeah, eventually they come down. And you're in the office still working, of course. Oh no, the tea is gone. Never mind. So you get back, you get into the office. Most people have cleared out. There's always a few stragglers who are working late, but not in your team. Well, there are. The 2 of you are the stragglers.
yeah. And Alder too, if Maggie doesn't get to them in time.
Yeah. Yeah, Maggie's pretty good about not letting that happen too easily. And Satori comes in while you're there.
Okay, so Walter is kind of close to close to the entrance, probably giving his back to a wall. And when Satori comes in, he just says, "What do you think about it?"
About everything. It's
This event, ritual, fire.
it's concerning, for sure.
I probably didn't mention about it before, but I know that it's not like just institute case. It's something bigger.
That's kind of what it feels like to me as well. Feels a lot larger, and from what notes Alder has taken, this influence is widespread.
Can you find any information about this kind of rituals and stuff? You know, people.
Well, I mean, I can talk to my cousin, but he's in the FBI, so he's not really gonna have any occult information from that level, but he might have heard of things about the Rising Fire reformation.
If you think that it could help us in any way.
Mm-hmm. We could just break in. Do a little reconnaissance in the dark. I don't know. You think Maggie would be upset if I slashed tires on that red Ferrari?
I don't know. But
You hear the voice in the distance, don't get caught.
The devil on your shoulder
Yeah. You know
is
what
louder
Maggie
than the
always
angel on your
says.
shoulder.
Yeah, no cop, no stop.
I have to say that it's serious. Not just serious. It's something personal.
Yeah.
While you're talking to Satori, you get a text from Marcus, and he says, "You won't believe it. Do you remember the Fire Mound sacrifice? The one in the Everglades?"
I will not reply to him yet. But
Guess.
go
Oh, go on.
it got my attention on my phone.
Guess whose answer to an interview afterwards by the police was, "I have no response. Do I need to get a lawyer?" And that was it.
Oh yeah, I'll just keep that for a moment,
Okay.
and I'll get back to the conversation and say I want to go deeper, but I don't want to get caught off guard.
Yeah.
You have to learn more.
We have to know what we're dealing with to know how to protect ourselves. I mean, I gave Neve the ointment used to protect and shield, and it burned their mark. Like it sizzled. It was an adverse reaction.
Did you also draw some pentagrams on the wall?
No, I did wipe the walls down with salt, though.
It's not just a bunch of ghosts. It's some sort of weird curse.
It is.
It has elemental origin.
So salt's not gonna do anything?
Did it do anything at all?
Maybe. My goal mostly was just to make sure nobody could spy on her.
We have to understand what kind of spell they carved onto her body. It could be just marking, it could be some sort of curse, it could be related to elements, it could be not related to elements. We have to understand the motive, and maybe we can follow the steps backwards to undo the curse, or maybe we should use some sort of counter element to negate the effect.
Like water? Or ice?
Yes. If there's a fire tradition in their way, that means there should be some sort of aquatic tradition somewhere.
Like the moon instead of the sun.
Yes.
Have you seen a sigil like this before?
It looks like a lot of fire cultists or even religious symbols that are that are related to fire or sacrifice or flame or, you know, any of that kind of stuff. It looks a lot like a lot of them.
But the question is, does it bring up anything related to that pile of people I saw before?
No, but what Marcus was saying was that the person in charge of this fire cult had nothing to say when the police wanted to ask questions. And she said, I'll lawyer up instead. Which, you know, you take it however you want.
Okay. So I'll just say... nothing special, at least for now. But I'll dig around.
Yeah. I think the key to this is definitely whatever is in that box. But I'm gonna watch over her tonight, if you're gonna be around.
I have plans.
That was really ominous, Walter, but I'm gonna let you sit with
Totally.
that.
That was very ominous the way you said that.
I mean, I have to see someone to learn more about all of this, if there's a possibility.
Well, just keep me updated.
All right.
Alder, you're on your phone and you get a message from that ghost girl. And she's like, you logged off early or something. We were in the middle of a chat.
Yeah, sorry, a lot of stuff came up at work and I just got distracted again.
So how do you like the job?
It's going really well. Today was really interesting. I feel like I'm probably legally not allowed to talk about specifics,
Of
but
course.
it's going great. Yeah, it's been really fun.
All right, you're being safe though, right?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Sounds like a fun job. More ghosts?
Think so? There's another building that I'm looking into right now. We kind of have to solve something else first because it's taking priority, but after that, it is next on my list.
Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, maybe we should chat more because I know what happens when you go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I know. But I think this time, and I know I've said this before, but I think this time I'm actually getting closer to something. Like, I know there's a ghost in the building that I work at, And I've got the list from the ghost tour of the other buildings where stuff has happened, and I've been watching a bunch of the episodes of their show. So I think that I'm actually really getting close to something this time.
And you get home and you continue chatting and hanging out. And Sam, you get home. Evening is just the evening. Satori, you end up back, I assume, above the dome to keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie gets home. Walter gets ready to leave. And Satori, you notice there's 3 people that were in the cosplay crowd that did not move on. One's wearing this hat, and there's 2 women with him. And he takes his hat off at some point. He's got bright red hair, obviously dyed, not like natural hair. And he walks over to the sidewalk after everyone has gone, like the crowd is cleared. And he has a staff with him. And he writes something on the sidewalk, like with the tip of the staff, just sort of, you don't see anything. It doesn't scratch it, but it does seem, you have seen things like that done.
Yeah.
In the past.
I lean over and I yell and I we have cameras, Go on, get out of here.
And he looks up and he smiles and he tips his hat to you.
Yeah, fucking whatever.
And the 3 of them start walking down the street, down away, leaving. Walter, are you going to see Marcus? Is that where you were going?
Exactly.
Okay. Why don't we start with that next session?
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for the first night of the Magnus Archives. We got a lot of not even office intrigue, like office joy. The office seems like a fun place here. I would work there. We'll see you next Sunday. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.